Well, let's go now to the independent MP Dai. Dai, thanks so much for your time. Just your thoughts on this quickly?
Well, look, you know what? I've just been listening to you and Jackie, and I kind of couldn't agree more. Look, I don't know how this legislation is going to work. I was a retail worker. I was a waitress. There are times I have to work in the evening, and I can't imagine me calling up my employer and say, well, I'm going to clock off. So in terms of, and I'm thinking of my community in Fowler, the factory workers, I don't know if they've got that luxury. So I don't know who this particular piece of legislation is targeting. And I don't know how it's going to work, how it's going to impact our economy, how it's going to impact the productivity of the, our economy. Really, I've it's in the Senate, and if Jackie doesn't understand it, well, neither do I.
Yeah, look, there hasn't been a perfect example, a cameo, an example as to why this is actually required. It's been pushed by the Greens. So look, I'd be interested to see what the feedback is in your community when you head out of Canberra, which I'm sure you're very relieved to do at the end of a parliamentary sitting week. But seeing as you are in Canberra, since we've last spoken, the tax debate has moved somewhat. The coalition now on board, but they're promising lower taxes before the next election. Where are you at with this?
Look, from my perspective, and I think I said last time, I'm really, I've been calling for the rethink of the stage 3 tax cut since the last 12 months. So from my perspective, there's a vindication there that the government is listening. However, the cost of living is still an issue. Obviously, food prices soar. Insurance, as I've mentioned on this program many times, has gone up a lot as well.
So is there any movement on that? Have you spoken to the government, the relevant minister, about these behind closed doors? Can you give us an idea of whether they are looking at it? Yeah.
Not yet, but I'm intending to do that, Laura, because I think it's a big issue in our community insurance. And as you know, I don't know if you pay your bills in terms of your insurance, house insurance, healthcare insurance, car insurance, you name it, it has gone up if you take notice of that. And so, look, a cost of living still hasn't been addressed really. And I am still calling on the government to really look at extending the fuel excise tax cut. That is a temporary measure now that we can do something about to help alleviate those pains of those costs for our community, especially in Western Sydney and in Fowler. And I will be on constantly. I mean, obviously, they have change around the stage 3 tax cut. So I'm hoping that they listen and that the excise fuel tax cut, I mean, the former Morrison government provided that. Surely a Labor Albanese government, the working people party, should match it or do better.
Indeed. Well, let me finally ask you as well about housing. We've changed to a few topics today, but I spoke to Frank Carbone yesterday and he was livid, to put it lightly, about some of the plans that Chris Minns has for his area. Do you feel the same?
Look, I'm all about finding a way to provide more affordable housing. And I think the supply is a huge issue in Fowler, in Western Sydney, because that's where the majority of people have settled, and that's where the government have actually pushed many settling migrants and refugees coming into Western Sydney. So they need to provide infrastructure. They need to provide connectivity for our community. They can't just get put people there and not provide anything. So infrastructure and housing is an important issue. And I think there has to be collaboration between local, state and federal. And I understand, the Mayor's perspective. From my perspective, at a federal level, here we are trying to address housing shortages and building more affordable housing. And, that's my focus.
Dai, always great to see you. We'll check in soon.